Okay, Sheriff, then I'm here asking you. She even knew I'd bring a legal bag. As uncool as that is. I picture Sherry. I can't get this picture out of my mind in the last week or so. In the back of a U-Haul truck in beautiful downtown Eulogy. There with Kathy Sassy, loading and unloading boxes and easels and exhibits 7 feet tall and tapes and tables. And it was a big old truck. This is not a van. We're not talking about a pickup truck. I'm not really sure who drove it, but I kind of hope it was Kathy. But I know who navigated because Sherry navigated us and me for about 20 years. The U-Haul picture in my mind demonstrates a lot about Sherry. She knew that our trial in cow country was a big one. We had dozens and dozens of these monster exhibits to get to the courthouse in Eulogy. And that was before the new one, this rather small old courthouse. Logistically, we could probably do that by putting it in a very series of cars and maybe taking a couple of caravans, strapping some on top. And puzzled about that, of course, Sherry came to it real quickly. She said, no, we'll just get a U-Haul. And she and Kathy drove it over. I thought of Thelma and Louise as they drove over across the highway and got into cow country. Kathy reminded me as they drove up to the Walmart to get more supplies and up to the fence the cows saw, and they would rush up to the fence and they thought it was a deep truck. I guess they were disappointed more than once as they drove up with that truck. Sherry had recognized our problem, scoped it out, solved it, and implemented it. And that's a pattern with her for the 21 years that I knew her. That image of her then, and another one when she was in a small plane with our photographer in the summertime in Florida, going over Southwest Florida, showed the photographer where these comparable properties were that were our evidence in the trial. Because nobody else knew about it, or we knew we weren't getting up in that plane. She flew up with him through some very dicey circumstances and got it done. She could do it. So, how do you describe Sherry in 15 or so minutes? That's what I have. I asked Father James for the slot between 6 p.m. and 10 p.m. But he said 4 hours might be a little bit much. Even 4 hours wouldn't do it, though. There's too much about Sherry. Of course, she agreed with him because she was enormously practical and down to earth. That practical nature made it possible for her to pack so much into every day. It was incredible what she could do in a day and in a lifetime. Sherry always seemed to have time, though, for her family, her church, for fun. She sure liked to have fun. For her professional organizations and colleagues. And doing all that, she could still achieve so much at work, far more than anything I had ever seen in my life, and still have. She was amazing. That ability to achieve that effectiveness was that confidence at the highest level that I value so much, and I know a lot of us do. Sherry is so many things to so many people. I think of her quiet, reassuring confidence, which sure got me through a lot of times. And I know that's done it for so many others. It wasn't bold, it wasn't brash, it wasn't boastful. It wasn't a lot of meaningless palaver. In other words, she wasn't a lawyer. But she did it right, and she did it quietly and confidently. We met 21 years ago. She began as a receptionist in our office. And as we got more and more cases fairly quickly at that time, we hired another attorney, so we needed a legal secretary. She said, I can do that. So fine, she got into that. Then as we got more cases and they got more intense and ready for trial, I couldn't hire another lawyer, so we needed a researcher. She said, I can do that. And as we got more and more involved, I needed even more intense level of assistance. Again, without the ability to hire another lawyer, she said, "I'll be your paralegal." She did all of that. And I want to say within a year and a half or so, she was our office manager for an increased staff. She started out as a receptionist. I don't know how she did it. I don't know how she got that ability to do all that. But those of you who know her well know how she did it. She just shared it. It was a job to do. She figured out how to do it, and she did it. I would notice often in the evening she'd have a textbook or several appraisals, fairly thick works of art that discuss the value or show what the value of properties are. I said, "Well, why do you have those with you?" "Well, I'm going to take it home. I'm going to read it." She had a marker in her hand, and she had some pens and some notes. When she got back the next day, she would have a chart. And the chart would list out the essential components of that appraisal on both sides. I know there's folks here from the county who were our opposition many times. Now you know my secret. It was sharing. She figured out the errors in both appraisals. Tell me about ours. Not that we were any. And showed the other side. And set that out for us so it was in a usable, functional way. Nobody taught her how to do that. She learned that on her own. That was incredible. Why? She wanted to know the understanding, the comprehension of what went on in her line of work so that she could help solve the problem. She was a problem solver. It's not an exaggeration to say that Sherry took her paralegal and legal support specialist profession to a new high. She gave her position a depth and a breadth and an effectiveness that are really unparalleled. Someone a few years ago, after Sherry became ill, I think it was you, Kim, I'm not sure, asked me how she could help the way that Sherry did. And my answer was, "Well, just know everything about everything." I didn't mean it to be flip. It was true. It was incredible what she knew and the depth of what she did about the important aspects of our job. And Sherry could teach. For the better part of 2 decades, Sherry taught staff, young lawyers, an old lawyer, a lot. She liked to communicate, and she did it well. It's no coincidence that soon after joining the Florida Association for Legal Support Specialists, FALS, she became Director of Education. It's also no coincidence, to those of you who know Sherry, that she quickly became the president of the local chapter soon after she joined. This ability to lead and to communicate gave Sherry the ability to inspire confidence in clients, and friends, and family. She had a pattern. She would understand the problem and really get to the depth of it. She wasn't a bit judgmental. She would relate personally. Clients very much appreciated that. It's not fun to go into a law office when you've got a severe problem and there's this hierarchy that you feel. You shouldn't, but everybody does. Sherry dissipated that. She would be face-to-face, one-on-one. She would understand and relate personally to the client, or family member, or friend, and then suggest and implement solutions. Not suggest only, she would implement. She was the queen of can-do. She would probably hate that I said that. Sorry. But it's true. And what a memory. Walt mentioned that. Her ability to recall names and facts and cases from 15 years ago were just uncanny. And we relied on that incredibly. Throughout all those efforts, there was something that shined through that everybody who knew her recognized, and that's her sense of humor. Sally and Aaron, she knew it. Suzanne and Devin knew it. And we at work all saw it. She had a very quick wit. She didn't want to be on the other end of it too often. He done something wrong, but she was funny and not hurtful with it, but awfully amusing. almost always, she saw the humor in the situation. She had a sense of fun that I guess is why she liked Las Vegas. I can say that. She enjoyed it. And she enjoyed people having fun. So the virtues of practicality, which everybody who knows her recognize, her company, I value so much. Her knowledge, her communication ability, and her humor kept her friends, those in our office, our clients, our witnesses, and even court staff on an even keel. And it got her family through some very tough times. She was a rock. And I don't mean that wrestler guy. I'm telling you, Sherry Gephardt was a rock for us all. If I had to summarize Sherry's attributes, I'd think first of her unexcelled confidence, to excel at her profession, to excel at helping her family and friends, her matter-of-fact ability to get things done. But that alone would not address her courage. And I'm not talking about just through this last battle, but throughout her life. One of the bravest people I think we've ever seen. And it would express her love for family, her daughters, her grandsons, her sisters, her sister and brothers, her husband Walton. So instead of trying to list her admirable and exceptional traits, let me just say to you, and to you, Sherry, because you said you'd be listening, that the truth is you became the very best. You achieved the gold medal of what you wanted to do. You were and are, because I think you're still here, an excellent human being. I was reminded of a silly little flower pot that Sherry's got on her windowsill at work. I call it silly because it's solar powered and the leaves flat in the sun. I don't know, Sherry liked it, it's up there. But as long as that sun has the power and gives it the power, those leaves flat. And as long as that old sun shines, we're going to admire Sherry, we're going to love her, and she's going to be with us always.